Je bois sans dire à tout.
What is going on, jerk faces? How you doing? Welcome back again to the Nocturnal transmissions presented to you by the Circle of Jerks podcast. It's the conversation that you could be having during the day, but we're having at night. With me, as always, is the homeboy Rob.
Hey, how's it going, guys?
All right, so let's get this conversation started. So,
all right, let's go, man. How was the weekend? I heard you did a little bit of camping and fishing.
Yeah, I mean, if it wasn't clearly evident already, yes, I did go camping and did a little fishing. It was good. I mean, I went with my dad and one of my uncles and one of my cousins, and it was just a guy's trip. It was a guy's trip through and through because we definitely underplanned. We didn't quite bring enough provisions necessarily, but we still had a blast. Just hanging out and swapping stories and just ragging on each other, and so yeah. And I got a little sunburn and windburn, but. I could have bitched out and just put up like an icon of myself, for this live stream. But I was like, no, I'm gonna show my face. I'm gonna show my face, pox and all. It's for the viewers, for you guys. All right. What is it? I'm relinquishing my vanity for you guys. So I hope you appreciate this.
Oh yeah. Let's see. My weekend was not quite as exciting per se. I just did more of hanging out around the valley for the weekend. Just hanging out with my dog and doing church stuff. I mean, I was doing some work podcast, been doing some writing and. Doing some testing, figuring things out, making things better for some of the future stuff that we have planned.
Actually, so, yeah, you know what? We're gonna break it here today because I think we're at the point where it's gonna come out soon, and so let's an exclusive. Let's break it tonight. The secret.
Right.
What was that?
Oh, no, go for it.
Oh, well, the secret project that me and Rob have been working. I mean, if you've been following us on Instagram, at Circle of Jerks podcast, you would have seen some behind the scenes stuff. But yes, me and Rob have been working on a new show, a new segment for our channel, and it'll be about gaming, and we'll have some playthroughs, maybe and reviews and stuff like that, and so keep an eye on it, keep an eye out for it. It's called the show is called Up by Up Down. So it should be dropping within a week or so, I would say.
Yeah, I would say I think we're really close. Probably about a week. So we're gonna be doing a lot of retro games. I got a whole bunch of stuff that I want to talk about gaming wise. Share a lot of my personal memories with gaming and how I got started with it, and checking out a lot of new stuff that maybe you guys haven't seen or thought about. And as everyone knows, I'm a huge fan of gaming. I play old games, I play new games, I play, whatever stuff that's popular, that's unpopular. I curse a lot at gaming, so.
Yes, I think this will be.
It's just full time.
Yeah, I think this will be the maybe the first show that we have that we might have to put up a disclaimer about the language. But it's to be expected. I mean, you play games. You're playing games, and it's gonna get heated. You're gonna get frustrated, and you're gonna lose your cool. So, why hide that fact? Why hide it?
Sometimes there's nothing else you can say but like fuck or damn or
balls.
Like, what else are you gonna say in some of those first moments? Yeah.
I know. Like, how many times have you been on this level and you've gotten past all the henchmen, and then you get to the boss, but then he throws a little curveball at you, and you end up using up all of your lives, and it's like, all that time and energy used. What other word is there?
Yeah, so I'm really excited. I've been having a lot of fun playing through some games, and I think we've done a few episodes already. The first one's gonna be.
Yeah, I mean, we got some things like we there. Yeah, we definitely still need to dot the i's and cross the t's, but more or less, they're in the can, ready to go, and most likely they'll be dropping sometime next week.
Yeah, and then we'll be putting them out weekly. Is that what we're shooting for?
Possibly, or maybe even like just spaced out, like maybe once, one every 3 days, or maybe 2 a week.
Oh. Yeah, we could do that too. I'm fine with that.
Mm-hmm. I mean, if I don't want to kill myself, I would do it once a week, but again, it's for you guys. It's for you guys. I'm killing myself for you guys. So, so appreciate me, damn it.
We won't reveal the games that we're playing. We want that to be a surprise.
Right.
But then, yeah.
Or maybe we can make it a game and like drop like hints like on Twitter.
On our channel.
Or maybe we can like drop hints.
Show,
Rob.
Exactly.
Yeah, maybe we could drop hints on Twitter, and then I don't know, or whoever does gets a shiny buffalo head penny.
Yeah, and I've actually been working on our next playthrough on a game. I've been doing some testing. I think I found some better ways for us to capture video.
Mm-hmm.
That'll be hell of a lot faster. So that'll save us some time.
Oh yeah, there's the first couple of games they were rough. Sitting through the conversion and all that stuff, it was very rough. Mm-hmm.
But yeah, but other than that, like I've been that's pretty much all I've been working on is stuff with the podcast, stuff around the house. Not really a super exciting weekend, like as far as like going places or doing things, but it was fun for me.
Yeah.
So what's the now you had a topic in mind to talk about, Andy? So why don't you start us off?
Indeed, I did. What is it? Well, I guess to prime you guys, I guess I'll tell a little story. While I was away on my fishing trip, a friend of mine, another creative, who has the same name as me, he reached out on Facebook to other creative types, and he was asking, if social media was generating more leads for them than their website, and if their website was even worth the investment anymore. And some people did respond. Some people did respond, and it was just they're saying like, before nobody took social media very, very seriously, And but now, the tides have definitely changed, and a lot of the a lot of the leads that people have garnered are from social media. I remember one fellow remarked that most of his, before, like, they wouldn't even, like, his company that he works for, didn't even look at Snapchat or, like, the pull it could have. But now, like, that's like where they get majority of their new leads. And so, and I gave my 2 cents as well. And Instagram has generated for me more leads, but it's also been hard because of what is it? People not willing to pay for my services. And so, it's been about a 50-50 split, good between good leads and bad leads. And but then that got me thinking about, just about, looking for work, and and the whole interviewing process, because I'm sure it's true for Rob, and I'm sure it's true for a lot of you out there. It's hard to find work. It's hard to find a job, or even just to start get your career off the ground. And so
it's a pain in the ass.
Yeah, and so I thought today we would just kind of discuss about our experiences looking for work, and the interviewing processes, kind of being critical of ourselves, and then maybe also analyzing past mistakes, and where we could better ourselves, and make us more marketable in the current job market.
Right. It's been difficult. Early on in life, it was, actually, I kind of stumbled into a bunch of stuff with, I'm not really needing, really an interview or anything. I was able to, find, work that suited me. I started off with, right out of high school, I joined the military, which, that's a, good, solid place to land. If you play your cards right, know what to say, and know where to go. If you're, semi-intelligent, you're going to be fine doing that. Shortly after that, as I was transitioning out, I had a ton of job opportunities, actually, and more of a, even though it was kind of the right at the height of that, market. Well, I was able to find. I had several offers, and I took one that worked for me. But now, as I've been looking, I'm trying to look at more places where I have experience in, that I have that I can move up in, where you work hard enough and you're there long enough, and you make an impact, and make a career out of it. But that's kind of hard. The whole idea of like canvassing places for jobs, it's very different now. A lot of people are looking online. There's a very little person-to-person interaction until you get towards the final stages and interviews and whatnot. So it's a little interesting, I guess. I don't think I've some of the positions I've applied at FedEx, I've done some of the online interviews where I'm like videotaping my interview. They have questions, and I respond to them, record them, and then send them over to FedEx, which is very weird. Tomorrow I got one. It's actually in person, thank God, because I think face to face. Talking with people and showcasing yourself is, to me, I still think that's the best way to go. There's something about being able to look someone in the eye and talk to them and show them what you're capable of. it's much better than kind of this very distant, cold, online sort of thing.
Yeah, I mean, it's also because something that's been prepared or rehearsed, like those kind of like pre-taped Q&A things. You don't really get a sense for a person and like their energy, as opposed to interacting with them in real life. And so you're
right.
So you are definitely reacting or feeding off the energy that like the interviewer is giving to you, and like and vice versa. And so it's a completely different dynamic, as opposed to you just send in a clip of you just reading or giving the answers to a bunch of questions that they gave you, and just and not having that kind of reciprocation,
right?
And it's just it just throws off the interview. It just throws off the whole process, and it's like this person who has like the really good answers, you might hire them because of their good answers, but when you meet them in real life, is like their the energy kind of sucks.
Yeah.
And so you're
there's been a few like where because I remember at my past job, we were when I was moved up and they were hiring my replacement. There was a bunch of guys that we looked at them like their resume looked good, they had all the right answers, and when they were there, they sucked ass. And then there was one of the guys that we looked at where his resume was okay, but like it wasn't anything like wow. But he interviewed and then he came to work with us, and damn, he was the best at all of them. Like he was awesome. So it's it's really more of I think with a lot of the red tape and a lot of the HR type of things where you can't. It's tough to give people a chance, and when they if you give them like a month, but like you can't just fire them for no reason. So at least that doesn't happen nowadays. So it just becomes this whole thing where you're kind of like caught in a cycle where I think it would be better if we had more of a way where, hey, this guy looks pretty good. Let's give them a tryout, and if it doesn't work, well then so be it. There's they always have like these probationary periods with these jobs and stuff, but
right,
I don't know, there's just too many damn like rules and equal opportunity like stuff. Not that those things are bad, but like a lot of it gets in the way of making the company the best that it can be.
Right.
That's not going to be a very popular opinion, but that's what I see. Like from I've always been kind of an employee, but I see also like the whole picture and how a lot of that like works, and the struggles that a lot of companies go with. And like I don't really like know if this is the right guy, and like, that's why it takes so damn long, because you have to really think about it.
Right. And I mean, I think there's also just like this has reticence of companies to gamble. And I mean, I'm not saying to gamble stupidly. It should be a calculated risk. And so and I think one of the things that go a long way in assuaging well, what
I think that's right.
Assuaging some hesitation or apprehension on behalf of those companies is actually having a person-to-person interview. Because especially if you need someone who deals with the public, who does customer service or just interacts with clientele like a lot, then you want someone who will kind of charm the pants off you, during your interview, and so that'll give you a really good sense of how that person will interact with other people, So I mean, so like if you have someone who like has, if you have two people and they have more or less the same experience and qualifications, but and the job requires that they deal with people, usually in a very emotionally distressed state of mind, and one person is, is just like, charming as all hell. They have good, they establish good rapport, and they're able to answer questions, calmly and respectfully. And then you have like this other person who's very short-tempered and doesn't handle when people are yelling at them, and are just quick to drop the F-bomb, and maybe a few light racial epithets. Then who are you gonna go with? Guy, Prince Charming over here, or Cranky Pants Magoo?
Salem. Yeah.
It seems like a no-brainer. But yeah, but it's all.
It's the other thing. Oh, sorry, Andy.
Oh no, I was just saying. Yeah, I mean nowadays. I mean, I recently, but not to make it all about like personality or whatever, but because skills and experience do count for do count for something and are important. I remember just a few months ago I went in for a job interview for a photographer position at this startup women's clothing company, and when I got there, it was a group interview, and I kind of hate group interviews, but I'll get into that later. But I got there, and then we were all like, doing the interview, and we were all like, semi-circle, we were doing a schoolyard circle, with like the CEO and like the creative director and I think one of the designers. But everyone went around, and they're giving, rattling off basically they're rattling off their resume, their experience, their education, what companies they worked for previously, yada yada yada, and it was tough because I mean, as skilled and experienced as I am, there are people, and I was one of 12 people, going for that job, and yeah, it was like, it was stiff competition. And so, I mean, yeah, I mean, you really have to make yourself stand out. And I know I think we talked about this before or maybe that was it that time where the sound didn't work? But we were just talking about jobs, and just, no matter how, talented or experienced or skilled you are, there's always going to be someone who's going to be, more of those things. And so, you really have to work very hard at, differentiating yourself and having yourself stand out in today's job market. Especially, I'm not saying it's going to be like this for everybody, but, in a room, in a pool of 12 candidates, going after one job, you really have to make yourself as attractive as possible.
Exactly, yeah.
Which is all I'm saying. Your
No,
thoughts?
the other thing I was trying to say, the other thing I kind of wanted to say too, and this also might not be a super popular opinion either, but a lot of jobs too, like it really, yeah, they want like a certain like degree set or whatever, but everyone talks about like, oh, I gotta go to like this college, I gotta do this thing, and while that looks flashy on a resume and might get your foot in the door, after a while nobody cares about that crap, and it kind of seems like they kind of in a way, a lot of the it kind of wastes your time and money to like go to some of these like really big schools, and that's like
don't I know it?
Some of like the bigger ones, like a lot of the Ivy Leagues and stuff. It's more, but a lot of like those Ivy League schools, yeah, it's a way to make connections because like they're, hey, my grandfather so and so went to Princeton, and like my father went to Princeton, and now you have all his Princeton buddies. Like, hey, like, you want a job here? Just, yeah, you're doing great. Come on down.
Right.
So there's a
networking,
little bit of that, but for the most part, like if you're just an individual that happens to go to these schools, like it really doesn't matter. Find schools that are like cost effective, because honestly, the education is about the same. It's not great, but it's it's about the same.
Don't I know it? Yeah, I mean, the networking opportunity, of course, is always a good thing.
That's positive, but
yeah, but you also
it's worth like 40,000. So.
Don't I know it? But yeah, I mean, I was in like that kind of situation where someone put it in my head that I should be going to school full time, and I thought about it, and and I guess I was tricked into it. I mean, don't get me wrong, I still thoroughly enjoyed my time at my school, and and the friendships that I made there, are things that I deeply treasure. But if I was, looking back on it, I could have been doing what I was doing, because I was still going to that school. Because I mean, if you guys don't know my story, I was taking night classes at the art school that I ended up going to, Otis, and and then like I was going in to get a certificate in photography, because during that time I was I was trying to get jobs. I was trying to get internships with other photographers and such, and I wasn't as skilled as some of the other candidates. And so I decided, you know what, I'm gonna go and I'm gonna at the very least get a certificate, because then I could say that I have these skills. And then one of the instructors came to noticed my work, and not well, she was like one of the night class instructors, and I was taking her class, and she noticed my work, and she was like saying, oh, you're very talented. I mean, you should be going here full time. And I was like, really? Me? And and I was like, I think on that certificate track, I was maybe, I think like 3 to 4 classes shy of getting my certificate. And so, when she said, told me that I should be going there full time, I kind of, gave it some serious thought, and I talked to my parents, I talked to my sisters. I talked to, very, trusted advisors, friends and the like. And, they all not convinced me, but, they also were of the mindset that, yes, of course, schooling is, a good thing. And, you'll be going to one of the best, art schools in the country. And so I decided to go, and that instructor, she was thrilled, and she said, I'm gonna help you in whatever way I can, I'll even write you a recommendation letter. And then I was like, cool. And I was like thinking, oh, well, if I get one, why can't I get more? So I went back to the other instructors that I had prior to her, and I asked them for resumes, or recommendations. And so, they wrote me a recommendation, and then I think I came in with like 4 recommendations from from instructors that were who were already like kind of employed by the school. So I thought to myself, you can't do anything, you can't do anything, you can't do any better than that. And so I think what was I going with it? Oh yeah, but looking back on it, I was almost there. I could have done like the 3 or 4 classes, gotten my certificate, and then just try immediately to go and get an internship or be an assistant, and maybe I would have done better.
Yeah.
But I still the experience and like the net meeting people and stuff. I'll always treasure those people. I always treasure my classmates. But just in terms of like
and I'm not saying that. Yeah, and I'm not saying college is a waste of time or like an experience. It definitely is a good thing. It's just I don't know. I feel like our college system in a lot of ways is very broken, and it's just I think there has to be some sort of big change coming soon, because the way that it's being run right now just seems so detrimental to like young kids and families. Like it's brutal to
I think
get into college and then not get in and pay for it.
Mm-hmm. I think there'd have to be some sort of government, but I think self-education is the best that you can do right now. As broken as the system is, I think self-education is the way to go. And there are so many resources. Even back then, there was also free resources like the public library. You could have easily just gone to the public library and just read up on books and philosophy and you could have done as best you can. You could have found some maybe some night courses to help fill in the gaps. But I think nowadays, with the internet and especially like YouTube and stuff, there's a video on YouTube to teach you how to do everything. Like the intro and the end credits for this new show, Up by Up Down. I learned how to do it by watching a YouTube video. So so I taught myself how to use a program, an Adobe program, to create that. And so do you really need to go because my school did have like a digital media department where you do get to learn about the more like cutting edge like software and things like that. But I learned how to use. I don't know in depth in and out, but I know enough to make it work for the things that I need it to work. And I taught myself that. And I don't think self-education is such a terrible idea, especially now. Like as you were saying that with the kind of failing educational system that we have right now.
Yeah, and I'm not there's still a lot of like great teachers and stuff out there. A lot of them I still respect highly, and I think highly of. But there's also a lot that I've had to kind of just like figure out on my own and learn and read about all that sort of stuff. And there's not really stuff that I would want to learn about or need to know is not being taught in the classroom. You have to just go and figure things out on your own, or find someone that knows what it is that you're trying to learn and talk to them about it and find the resources and get the information. I think we're eventually going to be starting going down more of that route. I know there's been a lot of teachers that I know that are starting to go more of that YouTube route or some other like video form route to get their information out there to teach and put content out there so that people can learn from them. It goes, whether you're more of, very conservative, liberal, or, whatever type of avenue you're trying to learn, there's something out there for you to be able to find and learn from people that you want to learn from, and maybe if you're kind of more open-minded to learn from, both sides and kind of make your own conclusion to a situation or an idea, and go from there. But actually, this brings us back to a subject I wanted to get back to from several weeks ago, about reading. And this is why reading, the ability to read is so important, and reading is so important. Not only does it improve your vocabulary, but being able to read, this is how you get through and learn information about subjects or teaching yourself. You can watch videos and watch shows and documentaries and all that, but there's something fundamental about reading and reading about it where you can get much more detailed information and supplement the video portion too, where you might read something like, I didn't quite get that. Then you go to the video portion, it's like, oh, that makes more sense from what I was reading. Okay, now you're kind of on the same page and you understand a little bit better, or vice versa. Sometimes, what somebody's saying is a little confusing. You go into the book kind of talking about the same subject, and you're going to be fine. You figure it out. So it's that's why I'm such a big proponent of reading, thinking for yourself, figuring things out, and not making your own conclusions about things, not just eating up what everyone else is saying, but taking all that information and then finding your own conclusions and way about it and how to use it.
Right. Because it's one thing to just take someone, and everything they say at their word, and it's another thing to, hear what they say, but then also hear what this other person is saying, and hear what this other person is saying,
right,
and hear what this other person is saying, and then taking all of those, and finding, points of commonality and, where things kind of line up, and then maybe, you're just, and then you're just that much closer to the truth.
Yeah, because you and I, we both watch, and everyone pretty much on our channel, we watch a variety of different things on YouTube and news-wise, from the conservative side to somewhat the middle, a little bit maybe on some on the liberal side, or at least the ones that we can stand. And from all sides, ones that are making solid, valid arguments, and not just shouting into a vacuum somewhere like a crazy person. And taking all that, it's hey, this guy who I probably don't agree with on a lot of things, he made a really good point here, and vice versa. Someone that I do tend to agree with somewhat in a lot of things, it's that idea is insane. Why would I can't go that far. So
it's like that whole Piers Morgan thing. I can't stand the guy, but then that he was on Bill Maher.
He's a blowhard.
Yeah, and then he goes on Bill Maher's show, and he makes he's making some valid points, and he's saying, hey, let's not blow things out of proportion. Let's just wait and see more evidence to come in, and he was shouted down, and I'm just oh my God, I can't believe that I am defending and backing Piers Morgan, who I hate with Theory of a Thousand Suns.
Yeah, and that to me, it was I gained a lot of respect for him that day listening to that. I was wow,
I know.
I never thought I would ever agree with Piers Morgan on anything. And the other thing I kind of wonder, because some of these big personalities, Piers Morgan, I'm pretty sure, I don't know what part of that is his television personality, that him being a blowhard, and what actually is him, the real person. And I'm hoping that more of the real Piers Morgan, who he is in real life, is more of that rational thinker, and maybe he's just kind of that blowhard for the camera because it generates people watching him. Because like, hey, this guy's crazy. Why would he say something like that? Or it's there's another sports analyst guy on. Now he's on Fox Sports. He used to be on ESPN. Now he's on Fox Sports. But Skip Bayless, he's a blowhard too. But
yes.
I hear
oh my god. Skip Bayless, that guy.
Trust me, he annoys the crap out of me. But I hear in real life that he's actually a very kind and generous guy. And so you wonder where is it the TV personality and the real person?
Right. Where does
they intersect or they
intersect?
So I always kind of wonder, some of these people that I don't really can't stand watching on TV. Yeah, I wonder if their real personality is something.
Yeah, I mean,
completely different, or if that really is.
Yeah, because I mean that same logic could apply to us, because we're just two guys on the internet who are just we're just sharing a conversation that anyone anyone in this country, anyone in the world could be having. Are these two people that are on the internet right now streaming, are these actually who these people are, or is this just a performance for the camera? And that's probably what people are thinking.
And that's always right. And for something like this, or even like our interview segment, like the full-on podcast segment, I try to be, in certain ways, play it up a little bit, but I'm try to be who I am on camera is pretty much who I am. I'm not going to talk about stuff that I don't either know about or don't care about. Our gaming segment, I really do care about what we're doing, and part of it's a little bit of a persona per se, but that's really is. I try to be fairly genuine and hope that kind of comes through. We might do like some funny bits or whatever, but for the most part, it's something that I try to be honest as far as my personality goes. Although I kind of think I'm more boring than I present on camera.
No. Well, I mean, everyone gets a little self-conscious in front of the camera. I mean, I'll admit it. Like the first few episodes of the regular podcast, I was a bit stiff. I will admit, but I mean, doing this, every week does, kind of get me used to being in front of the camera, and I'm able to be more.
I feel like I've gotten a better routine now.
What was that?
I feel like I've gotten kind of into a better routine and getting more comfortable with myself, listening to myself, which I absolutely hate,
right.
And and watching stuff. I'm finding ways like I need to improve on this. I need to do this better. Things like that.
Yeah, I mean, this is all part of the process. And I mean, kind of getting back to what we initially started talking about, like with finding work, or the interviewing process, to land a job. We always take away things that we've learned. Like, I remember just a couple months ago, I came upon a realization to one of the questions that I absolutely hated, when they asked during an interview, and that was, what would you say one of your weaknesses are? And I hated that question, and a bunch of the time, a lot of the times, I would just kind of give kind of a standard generic answer, coupled with like this, like the the typical spin tactic, on it. And
my greatest weakness is that I try too hard, or some bullshit.
Right? Like yeah, or like, oh, I'm a perfectionist. It's like, and so like, how many times have these people like heard that, or or how sick are they of hearing that? And I understand like the reason why they ask that question. It's so to see if you could be, self-aware and self-critical about your abilities and capacities, and and then I realized, me just kind of giving like kind of the standard, canned answer, it wasn't telling them anything about who I was, and it was definitely saying that that I'm not a creative person, which, I mean, if anyone has, if anyone has met me in real life knows that's not true. And so, after much, thought, meditation and thought about it, I finally came up with my answer, which if I was to go for an interview and they were to ask me that question, I would tell them, like, my answer would be, I already overcame my greatest weakness. The mere fact that I'm, sitting in front of you right now is testament to that. So whatever deficiencies that I may possess, are as nothing compared to what I have achieved for myself.
Right.
And so
that's actually a really good answer. You can't really deny that.
That's true.
It's like,
you can't really deny this. You can't deny this. So, yeah, just like kind of clicked for me. I was like, I already overcome my greatest weakness, and so, so everything, whatever shortcomings or deficiencies that I may possess, they're almost nothing.
Yeah.
So
it's still just man, it's tough. I'm hoping I got another one tomorrow, so hopefully that will go well. I'm got all my stuff prepared, so just we'll see how it goes.
Yeah,
but if not, I gotta make sure that I stay strong, don't give up. That's the key. Like, going through the process, if you start to feel sorry for yourself or feel pity for yourself, you're never gonna make it.
Right. I mean, yeah.
It's kind of one of those things. It's like going on a first date or asking a girl out. Like, they can smell that desperation and pity on you. Like, it's just, you can't have it.
Yeah. And I mean, like, our minds, always want to, like, I mean, I think it was a couple of weeks ago when you asked me that question about, if I don't get the job, there's a thought of, like, is it because of my hands ever coming to my mind? And, and I admit it that, sometimes it does creep into my mind, and it does, and I will kind of, not fixate, but I will kind of ruminate on that and wonder if it could have been one of the reasons. But I think we can't go to that absolute worst case scenario. I think the healthier thing is to just say, the worst thing that can happen is that they don't hire me. And that kind of also lends itself to, that advice also lends itself to like dating as well, because I remember especially like in junior high and high school, it's like, asking a girl out, it's so nerve-wracking, and you kind of build it up in your head, and and you always have this fear that they're gonna laugh in your face. But I think the healthiest thing to keep it, the healthiest way to manage your expectation is just to say, the worst thing she says to me is no. Because unless she's a royal bitch, she's not gonna laugh in your face.
Yeah, I've had a couple of those like really bad experiences with that, but yeah, it's really not. Now that I'm older, it's like it's more of a. It's even like just finding like that like right like person like to have like because I'm one I like to have a good conversation, someone that I can actually like have a good back and forth with. That it's not just. I mean, looks are important too, but it's not really.
Yeah, but that's a given.
You know, like, that's why like airheads that I don't want.
Yeah, because I mean the looks thing that's a given. So I don't even bother listing that as one of the qualities or one of the things that I'm looking for because it's a given. Like no one wants. I mean, unless you're really into postmodern art, no one wants to look at ugly things.
Right.
What was that? That's kind of a riff on the Full Metal Jacket line.
Right.
During basic, where the drill sergeant's like dressing them down. It's like, God, son, you're ugly as all hell. It's like you're so ugly. You can be a modern art masterpiece.
Yeah, God, that was. Actually, well, speaking of Full Metal Jacket, I think we should make that the movie of the week. Now I was thinking, I had a different movie in mind, but you bringing that up is a perfect transition into that. Because that whole movie, there's really two parts to that movie. There's Act 1, which is the
basic training, and then when they're actually in Vietnam.
That first act of the movie, you might hate the second act, but that first act is funny as hell. All those lines by Arlie Ermey, those were all made up.
Yeah, those are all ad-libbed on. I heard that's how he got the part. He just sent them a video of him just like cursing the crap out of people, and like that's how he got the part.
Well, and he was an actual Marine drill sergeant.
He
was in. He was like in the Korean or Vietnam.
He was in Korea and Vietnam.
Yeah, and that was what he did. That was his job, and he killed that role. I was laughing my ass off.
Oh my god! I mean, this how messed up my childhood was. I watched that movie when I was like 4.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
And only because like
I watched a lot of movies I shouldn't have either.
Yeah, but only because my guy cousins, my older guy cousins, they were supposed to be watching me, but then they decided to watch that movie instead. And so, and they were supposed to be watching me, but so they put in that movie, and I'm just like a 4-year-old kid watching it, and I swear to God, that scene in like that last scene, in the bathroom where Pyle, spoiler alert, but it's been more than the 26 point whatever years, so it shouldn't really be a spoiler. That scene where Pyle kills the sergeant and then kills himself, that was ingrained in my brain at 4 years old. Like I remember that scene more vividly than any of my childhood memories.
Yeah, the whole movie after like from that point on was that movie was really like bloody.
Right, I know. Like what a great like first memory for a 4-year-old to have.
And is hearing all those great like Asian like racial slurs and stuff. That was like, wow, okay.
Yeah.
I forgot
oh my god. Yeah,
no
way.
Because I have my, some of my friends who were in like Vietnam and like, like some other, like older friends from like that time period, and it's like, oh, so that's why they have those like terms. That's they were in that stuff, so it was more of the commonplace to use those. Mm. And me, being hanging around Asians my whole life, I've just never even. I don't know. It's funny like how these racial slurs kind of originate or start, because I never really. Who comes up with them? That's what I wonder if it's just the like words or whatever that like gets people thinking about these.
Well, actually, the one that's for Koreans. Well, I mean, it kind of evolved to mean all Asians. But it kind of fell out of fashion to use. But the one for Koreans is gook. And one of the stories is that during the Korean War, that when the South Korean soldiers came upon American soldiers, they would say "미국, 미국," which translate into American. But then because of the accent or whatever, the American soldiers misheard them or misunderstood them to be saying "me gook," so they thought that they're saying that I'm a gook. Or the Americans thought that they were saying, I'm a gook, so that's how that particular racial epithet got its origins. Or at least that's one of the stories.
Yeah. But as far as going back to the movie, I would say if you're looking for a really, a good laugh, that first act of the movie is really awesome.
Oh my god.
I sometimes know kind of what boot camp is like.
Yeah. Sometimes when I'm having a shitty day, I will look up that opening scene and I just watch it, and just laugh my head off. Now, what was it
yeah.
Like, what was it? One of my favorite lines is when he asked one of the recruits how tall he is, and he's like, "Oh, I'm 5'9". He's like, "I'm 5'9", sir." He's like, "Holy shit, I didn't." He's like, "Holy." The hell, I didn't know they stack shit that high.
I didn't know they stack shit that high.
Exactly. Oh my god, that's one of my favorite lines from that opening scene.
Well, and the funny thing is, because I wasn't in the Marine boot camp. I was in Naval boot camp, but it's a lot of that same shit. It was hard not to laugh because the shit that they were saying was so funny. Mm-hmm. And you get in trouble for laughing at that stuff, but it's funny.
Yeah, it is.
And
it's funny. So how it's just. And I know they want you to be robots.
Yeah. Because my problem is I'm a goofball, so I laughed at that shit.
Oh, so you would have. So you would have been Private Joker.
Yeah, I was Joker, and so that movie makes me laugh. It brings back memories of boot camp. It's just funny in general, and if you want kind of artsy look at the Vietnam War, it's also a really good film to watch. A little bloody, so if you're not into gore, you might not want to watch. But overall, I actually of Kubrick's films, it's one of my favorites.
Oh yeah, it was by Kubrick, huh?
There's 2001, which is kind of really artsy. That's gonna be another movie of the week here soon. We'll talk about that. But I would say of the ones I've seen of his films, that's the one I like the best so far. I still got to see Clockwork Orange and some of his older films. But I would say that right
he
now
did Shining,
that
right?
would be my top. Oh, yeah, that's right. I forgot about The Shining. That's a good one too.
Mm-hmm.
We'll have to talk. We'll go through Kubrick's films here at some point.
Yes. We'll definitely go through his filmography.
Yeah, but that's our movie of the week. To go watch Full Metal Jacket. It's got a lot of good laughs. It has a kind of gut wrenching, heart wrenching story. In the second act, actually the end of the first act and going into the second act, definitely worth at least one watch. So for the fans watching, or either live or later, go ahead and check it out. It's really great. Arlie Ermy steals the show.
Oh yeah. Oh god. Yeah. Again, if you guys are ever feeling a little crummy, your day hasn't been going so well, just go to YouTube, type in, Full Metal Jacket opening scene, and just have yourself a good laugh.
Yeah. Oh man, it's so good.
Oh man, so good. Especially when it gets to Pile. Oh my god, it's hilarious. Hilarious.
Pile. Yeah.
It's like, did your parents have? Man, it's like, you suck dicks. I bet you're the kind of guy who could suck a golf ball through a garden hose.
Oh my god. I might have to go
So
watch that right
good.
Oh, good stuff.
Man. It is. It is indeed.
Well, Andy, we hit our. It looks like we're up at the hour mark, so
yes, we are.
I think we should
Today,
say goodbye to the fans. And
and
hey, for those of you guys out there who are searching for work or you're kind of in a down moment, don't let it get you down. Like keep thinking positive and keep trying. Don't give up. It's, trust me, it's not easy to do. There's been a lot of times where I really just wanted to give up and just curl into a ball and die. But don't do it. It's gonna work out. Just keep working to improve yourself. Find it and take the failures as a way to learn and make yourself better. And the opportunities will come. So keep trying. And hopefully we were here to entertain you a little bit, give you some laughs, and hopefully give some of our own experiences and tips. And don't give up.
Yeah. I mean, for me, I'd just say go for it. I mean, even if you don't think you're necessarily qualified or experienced, I say just go for it. Because it won't hurt you to apply. And if you don't get and if you don't get the job, then it's what you figured anyways. So it really doesn't hurt you. But then also just if you need the skills, get the skills. If you need the experience, get the experience. I think the important thing to take away from tonight's episode is just always be improving. Always, because you always want to shine a little brighter than the diamond next to you. So whatever you have to do that, then go out and do it. Because seriously, take it from me. The world is not gonna accommodate to you and your needs. You are gonna have to accommodate to the world. And
throw everything you can at the wall and see what sticks.
Well said. Well said. All right. Well, jerk faces. That's our episode for tonight. Thank you for joining us as always. Don't forget, we do this every week, every Tuesday, 8 p.m. PDT, Pacific Daylight Time. I think when we switch back, to off of Daylight Savings Time, it'll be PST. But that's neither here or...
Is that what those... Okay.
Yeah, I know. I was confused too, and then I looked it up, and then, PTD is Pacific Daylight Time, which basically is during Daylight Savings, and then PST is Pacific Standard Time, which is like the hour forward in the fall.
Yeah.
So,
all right.
Yes.
Now,
so 8 p.m.
I learned something.
Now you know. You learn something you learn something new by watching this stream every week. So yes, tune in again, same time, 8 p.m. Don't forget to follow us on our social medias: Instagram at Circle of Jerks Podcast and Twitter at Podcast COJ.
And if you follow us, we will follow you back on Twitter.
Yes, we will.
And Instagram.
Yes, we will stalk you. We will stalk you like you've never been stalked before. But in a good way. In a good way. Okay, so for me and for Robert and for the rest of the jerks, thanks for tuning in. We'll do it again next week. Oh, and don't forget to look out for the new show, Up by Up Down. If you're a gamer, you are sure to enjoy it. If you are someone who is a fan of profanities, you'll be sure to enjoy it. So see you later, jerk faces.
See you guys.